Hello everybody. In this video I'm going to demonstrate and show you about the Brainwave Symmetry app that I made, or the patch. Okay, so this is going to be a very spontaneous and uncut video, just a warning. Alright, so I'm just going to open it up and show you. So I open the standalone app, then you can like go to File and then Open, and then you just click this .mxf. Open it, and here it is. So I'm going to go through all of these knobs and things. So, and most of them they have like the hover feature. So like where's one? Well, maybe not. Yeah, like if you hover over some parameters, it just shows you like this is the overall volume of the app. So if you would just want to turn it all the way down to like stop it from playing, you can do that. So you can, some of them you can work your way out on that. But I'll just go this square first, and then I'll move over here. So this whole thing, its goal is to teach you to have symmetrical brain waves, so that the left and right are kind of like in a mirror proportion, and apparently that's good for like flow states and creativity and just being a balanced human. So yeah, so that's the goal. And I can show you a bit like of the math and the code that's behind this, because this is your brain we're talking about, and that's kind of important to get the math right. So I think it's also pretty cool, but I'll just go over the details first. Okay, so this is the OSC port number. It needs to match the Mind Monitor app on your smartphone. This is the audio on-off for the standalone main app. So make sure this is on just to hear everything. This is the symmetry score. So some apps just like tell you if you have symmetrical brainwaves or not. This does, but it has a sensitivity to it, which is adjustable right here. So on one end, it's really easy to hear the sound that you get that triggers the symmetrical brainwaves. On the other end, it's very hard and challenging. So you can adjust this to suit your goals. And so let's say if you're right here, you can stay right here and then progressively increase the challenge level progressively in it, so your brainwaves can get more and more synchronized or symmetrical. There we go. This square box, you can drag an audio sample here. So let me find something real quick. Whoops. So you can just go ahead and like literally drag it on here, and you can loop it. Let me do this. So this is just a nice meditation sample of an audio track, and I can do a link in the description if you want to know where I got this. So this will just play on loop. You can load like a 5-second sample, or it could be like 2 hours long, and then there's a loop, and then you can just select a portion if you want, loop that, or you can just loop the whole thing. Here's a start and stop button. So I'm not sending the data right now, but there is a smoothing time feature available. So this button is basically, do you have symmetrical brainwaves or not? And if you click it, you can kind of practice what it would sound like. And then the smoothing time is just what it would sound like. Do like 1/4 of a second, or like 20 milliseconds is very fast. But I found 2000 milliseconds or 2 seconds. Pretty nice. You can actually hear when it goes down. It's just 2 seconds is really good because you can hear it go down, and then as it gradually goes down, you can refocus yourself and it will go right back up. And so these, I already went over the challenge level, so this is how hard it is to hear this sample, and you can adjust that here, and I'll give a demonstration at the end of the video as usual. But this is pretty interesting. It's basically like a auto challenge level increase or decrease. So over this amount of time, you can select it. You'll basically get an average for your symmetry score, and then hold that number, and then the next interval, like the next 5 seconds, it will get a new score for you. And if that score is better, then it will increase the challenge level just by a tiny bit, like that much. But if it's lower, if your score is lower than your previous, it will lower the challenge level. So kind of lowering the bar for a challenge. And that's triggered by this on-off button. By default, it's off. That will help you gradually increase your brainwave symmetry. And this graph down here basically just shows the challenge level over time. So you can see if it goes way down or goes way up. And so over time, if you do like 5 seconds, you can gradually see this thing will just keep moving. And by default, I'm not improving the score, so it just goes down a tiny bit. You can see the button lower challenge. It will get lower and lower. So that's the current and that's the previous. So I'll turn that off. This is a graph showing the difference between your front symmetry and your back symmetry. So TP9 and TP10 are kind of the back sensors. It's like back left and back right, back left and back right. AF7 and AF8 are like the front left and front right. And so you can see, if it's really symmetrical, it will go up, if it's not, go down. And there's 2 lines here, one's blue and one's green, and you can see these move just at the same speed as this graph right here. Down here you have the set min and max. So this thing goes up to 300 and down to 0. So by default it's at 300, 0. But if you want to, say, do like 150 to 50, then it will get much more detailed. If you want to take a deeper look at things. Okay, so I think that is all the features in here. Another cool thing I want to add is that these apps can play at the same time. So there's the standalone main app, right? And inside of that you load the brainwave symmetry patch. You can also load whatever you want. So you can load the external sensor alpha one I made to get sound on your alpha and the external sensor. But a really nice one I've been working with is the alpha beta neurofeedback app. So let's find it. Got a lot of stuff here. That looks like it. Yeah. And what you can do is you can play your little meditation track and then you can find the key of this. This is E major. So and then you can just hit E major pentatonic and everything sounds really pretty. So gonna get some flute samples maybe. And everything is at, this is at 8,000 and that's at 8,000, the port is. So now I'm just gonna do both at the same time. Oh, hold on, it is at. It's at 805. Okay, so here's a quick demonstration. Okay, so that was a little demonstration. I'm going to do that. And what else? Now, I just wanted to show you some of the math behind it because for some people that's important to know, like what is training the brain. So let me show you. Alrighty, so this is like the whole code basically. If you want to like quickly sketch that down because you're a programmer, go for it. But inside here, I'm getting the EEG data and then routing each frequency in here, and so it's just a bunch of these things, basically comparing the left and right hertz for each brainwave. So to make this a bit more easier to understand, like on here, it shows you that there's kind of like this noise signal coming from your brain all the time. And what this app does, and many other neurofeedback, they filter out that noise into different frequency bands and then provide amplitudes and therefore control sound with those amplitudes. That's basically neurofeedback in a nutshell. So what you have here is just splitting up the EEG into different bands from 1 to 40, and then they go in here, and then they give you a score and an output and all that. So imagine this is your left brainwave at a certain frequency, let's say like 9 hertz, but this app measures all of them, like 1 through 40 hertz. But let's just do like a 9 hertz one. And you can see this is kind of like the score. As they get farther apart, the score increases, or the number increases, and as they get closer, it decreases. And so this basically means that when your brainwave amplitudes are the same, the score decreases, and then, or the number decreases, and then all this does is just kind of invert the thing. So like instead of a range from 0 to 100, it's 100 to 0, and so the higher number, the lower number becomes higher, and the higher number becomes lower. So it's just subtraction and then an absolute value and then some if statements. So if they like totally match, then this turns on, and then the challenge level gives it some breathing room. Let's say that see, they don't have to be perfect for this to trigger. And if you really want to increase it, like it's very easy to trigger the symmetrical brainwaves. So that is basically going on with all of the frequencies in this entire EEG data, frequencies from like 1 or 2 hertz all the way up to 40 hertz. And then it's getting all of those scores and averaging them, and then that is your final score right here. Okay, so I thought that was kind of nice to share. It kind of gets removes some people in the dark about what's going on with these apps. And but yeah, if you're like not a programmer, you just don't have to worry about this. You don't, just relax, and it's not a big deal if you don't know what I'm talking about. So Oh yeah, one more other thing. So I showed you how this app can play with other apps that I made. Just gonna turn that off. But it also, my next version of these will have multiple instances, so you can play, you can open multiple instances. You can do that right now. Let's say you want to do that, and then you do it again, and now you have two of these running at the same time. They can have different OSC numbers. So if you want to like do this with someone else, you can just on one laptop. You just have to have like two Mind Monitor apps going and two headbands going. But you'll hear all the sounds on one input, and all the calculations will be on this computer. But normally that doesn't work right now, but the next version you'll be able to run as many instances as you want. So it has to do with the send and receive object being a global sender, if you know about that stuff. But so yeah, that's just a little update for what's going on, and I'm also working on probably 2 or maybe 3 other projects simultaneously, so stay tuned for more neurofeedback apps and patches and things. So thanks for watching. Bye bye.